Hi guys, and welcome back to the No Gluten Zone. I normally create content for people with what I call food issues, and that can be sensitivities, intolerances, allergies, or just autoimmune issues that affect your diet. But today is totally off topic. We are in the very last month of 2025. We are rounding out the year here, and I know that there are people out there making their New Year's resolutions right about now. And a lot of it is your diet, a lot of it is exercise, health, but I want to encourage you to try something different. So I want to talk about reading the Bible in a year. Stick with me. There are lots of plans out there for reading the Bible in a year. I even once saw a plan for reading the whole Bible in 90 days, which that's pretty aggressive. If you have a lot of free time, I would encourage it, but reading it in a year is so doable. And it sounds like it's not, but when you get into it, you realize it is. One of the very best things I've ever done in my life is I read the Bible in a year for 10 years in a row. And I really do encourage you to do it more than once, because each time through you see different things. You pull out more, you go deeper, and it's just so amazing. It is life-changing. And even if you're sitting there thinking like, I don't believe in the Bible, that's okay. It's a book, and it's a very historical book that everyone should at least be familiar with in some regard. You know, there's all these famous books we read in school and stuff that like everyone knows and everyone references to. And I encourage you to at least once in your life read the Bible. Do it in a year. Get it done. And then you can actually have a more educated conversation about it when someone is talking about the Bible. Because in truth, most people talking about the Bible have never even read it. They don't even know what they're talking about. They're going off of what they've heard from other people. So I really, really encourage you to just read it, even if it's only one time, 1 year, you get through it and you read it, and then you have a really good understanding of what it is and what's in there, and you can actually have educated conversations with other people. So like I said earlier, there are a lot of different plans, formats, ways to read the Bible in a year. My husband bought this, and this one is just like an open and go. You open it, you read that day's plan, put your bookmark, close it up until the next day. If that appeals to you, there are so many different types of these, different translations, different options. Some have commentaries, like little notes on it at the bottom. Some don't. I believe this one doesn't. So there are so many options within this. I personally got one of these. I wanted to just read through my regular Bible. I could use any Bible I wanted and just follow this little plan. And it actually does have more than one plan. I always followed plan 1, which was Old and New Testaments with Psalms and Proverbs. And that's the way the other one I showed you is set up. You do a little Old Testament, a little New Testament, a little bit of Psalms, and a little bit of Proverbs. And that is one of the things that makes it really good, is splitting it up like that. You're not just reading a whole bunch of one thing. It really does help make it more enjoyable and interesting. So there is a plan 2, which is the 7 biblical sections. I don't think this goes through the entire Bible. It focuses on a certain section. I never did that plan. And then there's plan 3, which is beginning to end. So if you don't like the idea of doing a little bit of each section, you would do this. And day 1, you read the first 3 chapters of Genesis, and that's it. And you would just plow through it from beginning to end. That is definitely another option. There are plans out there online that have different plans that you can print out and follow. The YouVersion app is a totally free app that you can download on your device, and it gives you the Bible. It also has reading plans, and I'm sure they have like a read the Bible in a year plan on there as well. Some people like to read it chronologically, in the order it was written, which is not the order it's laid out in. And some people like that, some people don't like that. I don't recommend that as your first time reading it in a year. I really recommend, at least for your first time, to do the split, the Old Testament, New Testament, Psalms, and Proverbs split. That is really, most people like that. So for your first time through, I really, really recommend that. Another tip is using an audio Bible, and there are so many options for this. I know the YouVersion app does have audio to it. You can listen to, I think they actually already have it on there for doing the Bible in a year. They have the daily listening, and you can listen to it, especially while you're driving. That is a really good way to do it. I am not an auditory learner, so I really struggle with anything auditory without a visual component to hold my attention. I am a very highly visual person. And so, like, to watch TV or a movie, yes, I'm listening, but I'm also watching. That's holding me. If I'm just listening, my mind tends to start wandering and I'm not focusing, and I don't learn well that way. I have even bought on Amazon Bible readers. There are lots of different types of Bible readers, and you can get just the Bible being read, or you can get it dramatized where there's like different voices for different people and there's like background noises going on. That can make it more interesting and hold your attention. So there are just so many options, but definitely consider listening to it if you don't think you can get through reading it all. They say if you listen to it while you're actually reading it, you have a much higher retention rate of remembering what you read and learning it better. So just a tip to keep in mind. I will say the first year I read the Bible in a year, there were a lot of days where it wasn't a habit yet and I would forget. And the recommended thing for that is just don't try to catch up. Just pick up where you left off and keep going. If it's like one day or it's something really short, then and you have time to catch up, you can. But don't get OCD about it and feel like you have to catch up, because that's going to keep you from just sticking with it the rest of the time and moving forward. So it's really important. Just let it go, pick up on whatever day you remember, and just keep moving forward. That's another reason I highly recommend doing it for more than 1 year in a row, because the first year it's getting the routine down, takes a little bit. And then I know my first year I forgot a bunch of days, and then I did do catch up on some of them. I know they don't recommend it, but I did when I had the time to do it. Second year through, I think it only happened like a couple of times, and I think it was like days where I was sick or something. And then after that, like, it was just such a routine, such a part of my morning. And a lot of people have told me, like, I don't have time. So it is good to set a time of day, whether that's morning, afternoon, evening, bedtime, depending on your schedule, and also when you best learn. I best learn first thing in the morning, so it's part of my morning routine every single morning. And some people tell me, yes, they learn best in the morning, but they don't have time. They're getting ready to go to work. And I honestly just schedule it into my time of getting ready. I give myself time to shower, time to get ready in the bathroom and get dressed, time to have my breakfast. And honestly, my breakfast is always a protein shake, and I drink my protein shake while I'm reading my Bible. That is like such a part of my morning. Just get up 15 minutes earlier and make that part of your getting ready routine. That's what I've done, and that's what works best for me. Again, you have to know you, get to know yourself. That is like the key in life, is getting to know yourself and knowing how to motivate yourself and work with yourself and get things done. Also, if you can have a reading partner, whether you read together in person or you do it separately and then like discuss what you read, where you're holding each other accountable, that is really, really good too. I don't really have that, but if you do, that's amazing. And I highly recommend it, going in on this resolution with a person or people. And you can also, read and then journal. I do that now. I didn't used to do it when I was just doing the Read the Bible in a year. I like sit and ponder what I read. And then I have the date and the passage that I read. I write it down in my little notebook. And then I leave some kind of a, what I got out of it, what sums up what I read, what did I learn, what was God speaking to me today? Because I can read it one year and see something, and then I read it the next year and I see something else. And honestly, like the first couple of years, there was a lot of stuff I was like, I don't remember reading this last year or the year before. And after a while though, it's like, oh yeah, I remember this, I remember this, I remember this, I know it's coming. And you get so familiar, but at the same time, every time, like I still felt like I learned different things out of it. So it's pretty amazing. So final words on this is that the Bible is 66 books put together, but it's also as a whole, it's one book as a whole, and it is so important to see it all as a whole. And so reading it in a year gives you that ability to do that, which is so amazing. And then I did some research and looked at some benefits of reading your Bible, and I'll share those with you. It creates spiritual momentum. Daily Bible reading reframes your mindset. It strengthens your faith. It improves your decision-making abilities, and it can definitely reduce anxiety. Your small daily habits, like reading the Bible every day for a year, produces big, long-term spiritual growth in your life, which will have so much impact over time. You may not see it in a day or a couple of days or a week or a month, but over time, it will make such an impact. You'll look back and be like, oh, wow. I saw it pointed out that splitting it up, doing Old Testament, New Testament, Psalms, and Proverbs does help you get through some of the history books. It's kind of dry, to be honest. It's history, and it's important for us to know that, but getting through it sometimes is difficult. And so by splitting it up, you're not just reading all of that and like I don't want to read this again tomorrow, right? It helps split it up, and it makes it more interesting and enjoyable. It says it can help you hear God's voice more clearly. Reading your Bible regularly trains your heart to recognize God's character, His promises, His guidance, and His corrections. And this encourages people who are feeling spiritually dry or lacking in their life or distant. It can really help them. And you grow without overthinking it. You may not even realize that there's growth happening in your life. But when you show up every day for that 10 to 20 minutes of reading, you're going to grow. You're going to in areas like you never expected to or imagined to. And there's a saying I found in this research that I loved. Faith grows through exposure, not pressure. I also found that this will replace noise in your life with truth, which is really important if you are struggling with that. Studies show that even 15 minutes of reading the Bible begins to drown out fear, confusion, worldly noise, and negative self-talk. So if those are areas you're struggling, definitely you need this New Year's resolution. We all crave peace. And I can tell you that's something really valuable to me in my life. I grew up in a home where there wasn't much peace, and that's something that I really sought out and found, and I cling to very dearly. So this gives you that for sure. It can help you know God, not just to know about God. It shows you how God treats people, His patience, His justice, His compassion, His wisdom, His expectations and desires for us. And the key here is to see your reading not as a task, but the beginning of forming a relationship. And sometimes people get hung up because they're like, I don't understand what I'm reading, especially when you're brand new to the Bible. And that's okay. Don't get stuck. Don't get hung up and don't quit. Just keep going. Kind of look each day. Did you get at least something from some portion of it each day? And even if you didn't, keep going. Another day you will. So it can be challenging to comprehend and to get it all. There's so much, really, is what it is. And so just ask God to reveal to you and keep going. The goal is exposure, not perfection. And it's okay to let some of the unclear parts be unclear. There are a lot of things in life that we're never going to have the answers to, at least this side of heaven. I guarantee it. And that we need to come to a place where we're okay with that. And some of the stuff that's unclear right now, if you redo this the next year and the next year, some of those things will become clearer in time. So I hope this encourages you to give this a try. I will look for links for the stuff I have, the reading plan, the 1-year Bible that you can buy, all of that. I will look for links online and I will put them in the description box, whatever I can find that I think might be helpful to you. And I really hope you give this a go, and please leave a comment and let me know if you do. And as you're going throughout the year, save this video and come back to it and leave me comments and check in and let me know how it's going. I hope this was a blessing to someone. I hope at least one person out there will take on this New Year's resolution and do this. And I hope you guys have a great day. God bless you guys.